Have you ever noticed how sometimes it's not the world holding you back, it's you? You tell yourself you'll finally start, finally stay consistent, finally change, but then you don't. You find yourself scrolling instead of creating, hesitating instead of acting, apologizing instead of owning your worth. It's like something invisible keeps pulling you back, and you can't explain why. You say you want success, peace, love, but when it's right in front of you, you push it away. Why do we do that? Why do we sabotage the very things we claim to want most? That's what this video is about. Not how the world stops you, but how you stop yourself and how to break that pattern. There's something strange about self-sabotage. You don't see it coming. It's quiet, subtle, logical, even. You tell yourself, I just need more time. I'll start when I feel ready. I don't want to fail, so I'll wait until I'm sure. But underneath those excuses is fear. And that fear wears many masks: perfectionism, procrastination, overthinking. You convince yourself you're protecting your peace, but what you're really protecting is your comfort zone, because comfort feels safe even when it's slowly suffocating you. The truth is, your brain is not built for success. It's built for survival. Your brain doesn't care if you're fulfilled. It cares if you're familiar. It would rather keep you in a painful pattern you understand than risk the unknown happiness you don't. And that's why you keep returning to the same habits, the same people, the same mental loops, even when you know they hurt you. It's not stupidity, it's survival, the psychology behind the pattern. So let's get deeper. Why does your brain do this? The answer lies in something psychologists call predictive coding. Your brain constantly predicts the future based on your past. It doesn't just respond to reality, it creates it. If your past taught you that failure equals shame, your brain will try to protect you by avoiding anything that risks failure, even if that means avoiding success itself. If love once meant rejection, you'll subconsciously pull away from people who treat you well. If attention once led to judgment, you'll dim your light before anyone else can notice it. You see, your brain isn't sabotaging you because it hates you. It's doing it because it thinks it's helping. That's the tragedy of it. Your mind betrays you out of love. Here's what's fascinating. Neuroscientists have found that when you're about to step outside your comfort zone, your amygdala, the part of your brain responsible for fear, lights up as if you're in danger. To your brain, change equals threat, even positive change. That's why people stay in toxic jobs, broken relationships, and self-defeating habits, not because they want pain, but because pain feels predictable. And in the twisted logic of your nervous system, predictable feels safe. The hidden mechanisms. But this runs even deeper, because self-sabotage isn't just a habit, it's an identity. When you've spent years telling yourself, I'm not good enough, I always mess things up, I'm just not that type of person, those words become wires in your brain. They become your internal operating system. Every time you get close to success, your subconscious whispers, this isn't who we are. So you unconsciously pull back, just enough to stay consistent with your old identity. Here's what's even more fascinating. Your subconscious would rather be right than happy. So if you believe deep down that you're unworthy of love or success, your mind will do everything it can to prove that belief true, because at least then, it knows who it is. That's what psychologists call cognitive dissonance, the discomfort of living in a way that contradicts what you believe about yourself. So instead of changing the belief, you change your behavior to match it. You sabotage your opportunities. You chase unavailable people. You quit before you win, just to stay congruent with the story you know. The emotional consequences, the slow burn. And maybe that's the most heartbreaking part. Because after every self-sabotage, you don't just lose progress, you lose trust in yourself. You start to think, maybe I really can't change. Maybe I'm just broken. But you're not broken. You're conditioned. Conditioned to confuse safety with peace. Conditioned to call self-protection self-sabotage. Conditioned to avoid pain, even if that means avoiding life. The long-term cost. You stop dreaming. You stop trying. You stop believing that a different version of you is possible. And the tragedy is, it is possible. You've just been running the wrong program. The turning point, awareness as the first step. Here's the truth. You can't out-discipline your subconscious. You have to retrain it. Awareness is not the end, it's the entry point. Because once you see the pattern, you can start questioning it. When you catch yourself saying, "I always ruin things," pause, ask, "Who taught me that?" When you feel fear rising as you step towards something good, ask, "Is this fear protecting me or preventing me?" That single moment of awareness is where your brain rewires, because awareness interrupts autopilot, and every interruption is a new neural path. How to break the pattern. So, how do you stop being your own worst enemy? You don't fight the fear. You listen to it. You trace it back. You thank it for trying to protect you, and then you lead it somewhere new. That's how healing works. Not through force, but through compassion. Start small. Keep promises to yourself, even the tiniest ones. When you say you'll go for a walk, you go. When you say you'll rest, rest. Every follow-through rebuilds trust with your mind. Your subconscious starts to learn. I can handle success. I can handle happiness. I can handle more. And over time, your brain stops seeing growth as danger and starts seeing it as home. Here's another truth. You'll still sabotage sometimes. We all do. The difference is you'll notice it. And noticing changes everything. Because once you can see the pattern, you can choose something else. And that choice, even once, is how freedom begins. So maybe you've spent years being your own worst enemy, fighting battles no one else could see, beating yourself up for mistakes you made only because you didn't know better. But maybe that's only because no one ever taught you how to be your own ally. Your brain isn't your enemy. It's your oldest protector. It built walls not to trap you, but to keep you safe. It just learned the wrong lessons. And now, you get to teach it new ones, gentler ones. Ones that sound like, "I'm trying, I'm learning, I'm enough." You're not lazy, you're not broken, you're not unworthy, you're just scared and human. But you are also capable and aware and powerful beyond belief. You don't need to fight yourself to grow. You just need to stop mistaking fear for truth, because you're not your mistakes. You're the awareness that sees them, and that awareness is where your freedom begins. So next time you feel yourself pulling away from what you want, pause, take a breath, look at how far you've come, and remind yourself, you are not the enemy. You are the one who's finally learning how to come home to yourself. And if this video helped you remember that you are not your fear, but the strength that walks through it, then don't leave without pressing subscribe. Because here, we don't just chase growth, we understand it, we make peace with it, and we rise together.